Hi, I'm Matt Hillebrand with Don's Appliances, joined by our Cannonsburg associate, James Hayes.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning, James. So, I'm not on the sales floor so much as I had been for the last 20 plus years. And I know that when I was on the floor, customers would come in and they'd always say, what's the most reliable refrigerator, or what gives you the least amount of problems in a dishwasher, or, Chef and I always do this. What would Matt do, or what would you buy, right?
Sure.
So what are you hearing, James, when customers come into the showroom? What are they asking?
Reliability is a huge one, and that's one of those things where it could differ from product to product. From category to category, it can really vary quite a bit. If someone's like, "What's the most reliable fridge on the market?" Sub-Zero, more than likely. So, but then from laundry to there, that's a huge thing. And in laundry, another huge question there is front load versus top load. What's more energy efficient? I think that's an area where a lot of people have questions on energy efficiency.
Yeah, and rightfully so, because there's definitely pros and cons to a top load versus a front load. Everybody with the cost of electricity and gas and water, and now you're paying a large amount of sewage in terms of cost. So that is a big point, right?
Huge, and that's and I think to your point, with the utilities and stuff constantly going up, there is more of a focus on energy consumption by all appliances today.
Yeah, and refrigerators. What's the most energy efficient refrigerators? The great thing about products today, they're so much more energy efficient. So the refrigerators are using less electricity than the old refrigerator in the basement. But conversely, what that does, there's that pro and then that con. And the pro is the savings on electricity. The con is they have to run longer, so thus the overall year of lifespan goes way down.
Yeah, so we circle back to lifespan reliability. So that is, back in the day, a refrigerator may run 10, 12 times a day. Now it runs 24 hours a day. So, the compressors never really shut off. So that can definitely create some extra wear and tear on your product and shorten that span down.
Yeah, and shorten to the point of 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, 100%.
And just to kind of put that into perspective, if I were to have a 2-year-old car that I've driven 200,000 miles, I'd need to replace it. Whereas it's only a 2-year-old car, but I've driven it 200,000 miles. I've got an 8-year-old refrigerator that's ran 1.5 times what a 40-year-old refrigerator has run. So that's kind of just putting that into perspective.
Sure.
It's just that pain of replacing that product when you have an old product down in the basement that's still running. It's kind of like a Model T. If it only has 1,300 miles and it's 100 years old,
Oh, agreed. Another one, too, is, you run into a lot of scenarios where people are maybe replacing older product, and it's like, what can I put in here? What's going to fit my space? Particularly wall ovens and things like that. And then to that, I usually say maybe bring a little information in for me to work with, overall dimensions and things. And that's no one quick, easy answer for that, right?
But that's a great. You bring up a great point, right? So when you're coming into our showroom appliance shopping, couple things you need to do. One, to your point, bring dimensions. Bring dimensions of the space that the appliance needs to fit into. Bring dimensions of your current appliance. Bring a picture of the appliance sitting in the space. But also what I would do is I'd bring the model and serial number, because a lot of times we can look this stuff up to see in terms of what the old product dimension was, right?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't say Kenmore on it, typically I can find all the measurements on it. So that's one question I run into a lot. Another one is, when's the best time to buy if it's not necessarily a duress purchase, right? And duress means like it's broken, I need it now. So, but a lot of people are maybe planning and they're like, when's a good time to buy?
Yeah, during our promotional periods, right? Or during the promotional periods that the manufacturer have kind of gotten into a cadence of, which is, President's Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, really Don's Appliance sale time, whether it's in April or September, October. We run our anniversary sales twice a year. And then always Black November, from November 1st through December 15th. Is always a great time to buy.
Sure. And then another one, I've seen the pushback on stainless steel the past couple of years. People were like, what can I get that's not stainless? Not a whole terrible lot, but you're seeing some more colors come out. I've seen some matte white from LG has it now. It's very similar to the
GE
GE
Cafe, yeah, GE Cafe kind of started that trend, and they've got some matte black, which is really cool looking. So there are some different choices there.
And then black stainless is still around. That's hanging in there. So, yeah, I don't know. There's I feel like we've touched on most of them. Can you think of
Yeah.
anything you run into?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you got?
I literally, we could talk for hours on this,
Sure.
So when customers would come in, one thing they'd always say is that if my washer knob breaks, can I get a part? Absolutely, right? So, when you come in and you're looking for ask if parts are readily available, right? So different manufacturers have better parts availability. And we have our own parts and service department, so we can speak with authority and tell you, yes, we can get parts readily from Speed Queen if your knob broke on your Speed Queen washer, or we can get parts for your front load LG washer if you by chance crack the door on the washer. So those questions are great to ask.
Sure. And that's an area too. It's like, you got to keep in mind, most of these parts are only in production for 7 to 8 years. So then maybe the question is, should I repair it or should I replace it?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and really where I kind of gotten to, especially with coming out of COVID here, 4 years coming out of COVID, if your appliance is older than 6 years old and you have a major failure, you really should replace it. The only time you should ever repair an appliance over 6 years old is if it's a brand like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Miele, Thermador, one of our higher end brands. But if you're just looking to replace a washer, dishwasher, range, microwave, just don't even repair those things, especially microwaves. Don't repair those.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to cost you $400 to repair a $500 microwave.
Yeah, and the great thing is that we can get a product next day if it's in stock and you're in our delivery area, which most of you folks listening and watching, you're in our delivery area. We can get a product next day to you as long as you order it prior to 2 or 3 o'clock. But most times we're next day, and in worst case, if by chance we book up, we're 2 days out.
Sure. And that's the other big question I've had post-COVID has really brought people into availability. And Matt kind of touched on that. We have next day on most things. And then most of these manufacturers have been caught up a little bit for a while now. So most of them are shipping quickly if it has to be special ordered.
Yeah, and the cool thing is if you go to donsappliances.com, you can kind of check out and see what's in stock. And we have folks available till 10 at night that can answer any questions you may have on our chat, which is really helpful. So if by chance you come in, you forget to ask a question, it's 8 o'clock at night, go ahead and chat up one of our folks on our website. They can answer any questions. Be sure again to go to donsappliances.com, check out any of our in-stock products. James, thank you as always for hanging in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.